All right, Shalom. I just wanted to do a quick video, about a couple of topics here. One thing I want to start off with, this event that actually happened this morning. I believe it actually occurred when I was doing that conversation with Samuel Owens, which I'll comment on that in a little bit. But over in Baltimore, what's this bridge called? The Key Bridge or something like that, right? One of their like main bridges, right? It got hit this morning by a cargo ship that was, going through the area. And apparently, what happened was, if you look up the story, what happened was apparently the ship lost control, right? It lost power, and it steered itself right into one of the pillars that was holding up this key bridge over in Baltimore, and the whole bridge completely collapsed. So and it was caught on video, right? It was caught on video. Um, so what I thought was funny is I saw a couple guys saying, "Oh, well, this is fake, right? This is staged, right? This is staged." Right? You could tell, they didn't actually watch the video, they didn't watch the news to see the actual story about what happened. They just saw, well, see, well, this looks staged. Like somebody planned this out. I mean, it's like, come on. You know, in real life, right, on this earth, there's 8 billion humans living on this earth. So obviously, sometimes, real things happen time to time, right? There's real acts of violence that take place. It's just the truth, right? Real acts of violence take place. Like with this whole thing that happened over in Moscow, right? The whole thing that happened over there last Friday, which I got to use code language, of course, but with the event that happened over there at that theater, what was it, like 100 and almost, yeah, 140 people just about lost their lives, and 100 more injured, some in critical condition, even right now. And if you look into all the information, dealing with that, it's obvious that Ukraine was behind that attack. I mean, for Christ's sake, the people who carried out the attack, they got in their vehicle and they were fleeing towards the border of Ukraine. Meaning what? That's the point they probably came in from in the first place, and that's where they planned for a extraction to take place. Right? Obviously, Ukraine's involved just on that, but a whole nother point here is they actually found like the driver's license of this character, or his ID, whatever, and it said that he was from Ukraine, that he was in the Ukrainian army, one of the 4 individuals. Again, I mean, there's other information. These guys don't look like they're, from this Islamic group or whatever that they're claiming is responsible for this, event over there. They don't look like they line up with, people from that organization. So again, I think the news is lying. They're covering that up, because the truth is that Ukraine was the one who operated that attack on Friday, right? Ukraine was behind that attack. All the evidence supports that. But Western media, they're covering it up, and they don't want to put that out there for the masses. So they're given a lopsided story, just like they do with basically almost every other, part in the news. But anyway, another thing I wanted to comment on is earlier I was walking and I saw, a dude who had 2 of those trucks outside his house. What were they called? The what is it? 1-800 got junk or something like that. Those blue trucks that come and take the shit at your house that you don't want no more. I was thinking, it's like, damn, people out here have so much nonsense, so much garbage in their house that these dudes need literally 2 pickup trucks to take that shit out. And I guarantee that's now all the stuff in his house, right? That's just stuff that he decided he didn't want no more. So they called him up to come take the garbage and take it to wherever they're taking it to, whether it be a landfill or taking it to a flea shop or whatever, flea market, thrift store. I don't know. But I'm sure they're going to make a profit off of some of that stuff anyway, because it's not like, for those in other countries that don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically like a service you can call when you're done with like a yard sale, or say if you're moving out of state and you have stuff that you don't want to take with you, they'll come pick it up. So it's not like, like a like a garbage truck, right? The green garbage trucks that takes your food trash. This blue one, it actually takes like actual physical items that you no longer want anymore. Like, say, for instance, you got old pots and pans, or movies, or, old computers, or a bookshelf, or, candles, stuff like that. They'll come and, take all that stuff off your hands. And of course, they'll sell it back, to people that might actually find some value from it. But I won't go too far off onto that. But it got me thinking, of this one time when I was, taking part of a yard sale where we had, multiple people taking part of this yard sale a couple years back. And once the yard sale was over, somebody called the same company to pick up the rest of the yard sale stuff that was left over. And there was like, damn, 30 boxes of trash, garbage, goods that you don't need no more, left over. So hell, people living over here in the West, man, they got, too much shit in their household. Matter of fact, here's a fun fact for you. The average American household has 300,000 items inside of it. And that's everything ranging from, say, candles to silverware to DVDs to pens, pennies, paper clips, individual sheets of paper. If you add every item together, both the big and the miniature, it equals to about 300,000 items inside of the average American household. Of course, some might have more, some might have less, but that's just an average, right? The average household over here has that many goods, or items inside of it. Most of that shit's just garbage anyway, man, because people over here, just like, say, for instance, children will be happy to get one toy, they'll play with it for 2 days, and then it gets discarded with the rest of their toys, and they won't care, about it again. That's how a lot of people are over here with consumerism. Like, say, for instance, they'll see like a shirt on sale, will be like, oh, I gotta have it, right? I gotta have it. And then, a week goes by, and the odds are it'll get mixed up with all the other clothing they got, and they'll probably never wear it again, or on a very rare occasion, right? But it won't be special anymore after, a week or two of it get, tossed in with all the other, old stuff. And then they'll be looking for their next, thing. Or a whole nother thing with this whole craze about the new phones, right? It's like shit, every other year they're coming out with a brand new iPhone, right? Shit, I don't even know how many iPhones there are anymore. What is it? Probably like what, 15 of them? Maybe even more. Hell, I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. Which I use Samsung, right? I use the Samsung phone or tablets. I've never been, into the Apple products. I've owned one Apple product in my life as far as I know. I believe I owned a Apple laptop, but that's the only product that I bought from the Apple company before. But I always used Samsung, right? The Android, tablets and stuff like that. That's what I've always used. And as far as I can tell, I'll always stick with that company because I think, just my personal opinion, I think that they're better quality and much more fair priced, compared to, the Apple products. That's just my opinion on it, though. But, it's shocking to me because these people out here, they'll line up in the thousands waiting for hours, on the release date of these new phones, lining up to pay, $1,300, $1,500 for just an updated version of the phone they had, a year ago. It's like people don't think it. It's like shit, man. You could go to Walmart and you could get just a cheap Android a phone for like $30, maybe $50, and it would give you all of the features of a $1,500 phone. Now, sure, maybe it won't be as big, maybe it won't have as many cameras on it, maybe it won't have all of the unique details, but essentially it gives you what you need, right? You can get your own phone number on it, you can use the internet on it. Most of them that I've seen are decent sized phones, right? So again, you can get that for like $30 to $50, right? There's no need to go out and spend, $1,000, $1,500, $1,200 on a new phone that's just an updated version of last year's make and model. Excuse the background noise. So again, people out here, they just don't think, right? People out here, they don't really think for the future, right? People out here, they're not, using their money wisely, and that's because this is a consumer based, economy here, right? People are consumers, right? People don't use money wisely, over here in the West. But over in other developing countries around the world, you got people over there that are disciplined with their money, right? They make every dollar count over in those countries, man. But over here, man, people be, just wasting shit. Like I've been to restaurants before, man, where I see people leave the restaurant, and if you look at the table they were just sitting at, they literally have like full damn plates of food there, right? Sure, a couple bites gone, but people be throwing away damn near full plates of food into the garbage. It's like shit. In other countries, people would literally eat that after you. Quite literally, by the way. What is this thing called? I believe it's called, um, I think it's called pag or something like that over in the Philippines. Right? I think it's called pag. You can look this up. It's over in like the Philippines. And what it is people like go into garbages, from like restaurants after people have ate the food, and they throw out the remains of it. Like, say, for instance, if somebody was chewing on a chicken leg, they'll throw it out. And then these people, they'll go into the garbage, they'll grab all that stuff out, the leftover meat, leftover, half eaten burger or whatever, and they'll cook it up, and then they'll either eat it themselves or they'll sell it to other people. Look it up. It's called pag, right? And it was funny. I was watching this documentary, and they asked this one guy who went up to the counter of the little, shop on the side of the street where they were selling pag, and the person who was doing the documentary, they asked the man, well, what do you think about this? I mean, you're eating the leftovers from other people, right? The guy was like, oh, this is, I look forward to eating this meal, right? I get this like every other day, man. I recommend you try it. It's some really good stuff. So again, those are the lows that people are living over there, and they eat, some of them enjoy it, right? Some of them, as the character I mentioned, some of them grow to enjoy it. Same thing with how in some of those cultures, they, like, say, for instance, they'll eat all of the parts of animals, right? They'll literally, cook up the chicken feet, right? They'll cook up the intestines, they'll cook up the brain, they'll cook up the eyes. It's true, I've seen the crazy food documentaries from around the world. People over there, they ain't wasting shit, man. to literally cook up shit. There's not to be funny, but there's even places on earth where people will even cook up you, right? They'll even eat you, right? There's people out there that are that desperate for food, man. It's out there, right? It's in these countries. It's it's sad the situation some people are put into, man. Like look out at what is it? Look at hell, Haiti or Gaza right now. The situation going on there over in Gaza, they say that basically the entire population over there, right? What is it, like the 1.5 million people that are in Rafah right now? They're all starving right now, right? They all have basically nothing to eat. The stores are empty. The airdrops, you got people so desperate that they're, running after these airdrops of food that the U.S. is doing over by the shoreline in Gaza. That the first couple of rounds, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago now? The first couple of rounds when they were dropping these aid packages over for the people, there was a couple people who literally died because they were running after it, not paying attention, and one like literally landed on them. Right, people are that desperate to get to it. They want to be the first there when the package hits the ground. Some people weren't paying attention and they got damn, crushed to death by that, man. It's like, damn, but it shows how desperate people are over there, man. They got people willing to, fight one another for a can of, raviolis. Meanwhile, Americans back in 2020, there was literally fights at the supermarket for a spare roll of toilet paper or a pack of masks, or as Mina Shreg will call them, face diapers. So again, man, you know, if people are willing to literally, give somebody a black eye over a roll of toilet paper, just imagine when it's over food, right? Because remember, when those people were fighting over toilet paper, both of their bellies were full, right? None of them were thirsty, none of them were hungry. They were just having to fight over a roll of toilet paper on a full stomach. But very soon, they're going to be fighting over food itself. Out here in the States, it's going to happen in the future. Because the truth is, there's going to be famines, and that's even in the prophecies, right? One of the things that Christ said to look out for is, you'd have pestilences and earthquakes and wars taking place and famines among the people, right? Famines across the world. Now, those are things that Christ warned about, and we're seeing all those things happen. There's conflicts breaking out all over the world right now. Like the whole situation just got reignited over in Haiti over the past 2 weeks, which it hasn't really ever been calm over there. It's always crazy in that place. But I mean, shit, if you look at Haiti 4 months ago compared to what it is now, it's definitely much more dangerous right now because instead of all the armed gangs over there like G9 and the other ones that were fighting for control of the territory, now they all teamed up under this guy. What's this guy? Barbecue. You can look him up, right? That's like their top commander now, right? All of the armed thug gangs, they teamed together as one to try to overthrow the government. Because actually, what happened was, if you look at some of the recent history in Haiti, their government, right, like the president of the country, he got taken out by a gang in 2021, right? So a couple of years back. And then they installed another dude up in there. And now the gangs are joined together to try to fight against them because they want to take over control of Haiti, right? They want power over the country. So now they're fighting against the government, or what remains of the government, that is. So again, man, that place, It's wild, the shit that's going on over there right now, man. And I've seen the documentaries from times of relative calm down there. Which, when I say relative calm, I mean shit. Americans wouldn't be able to last a day in that, the what they considered to be a normal day in Haiti, right? The average American couldn't survive 24 hours, in that madness, right? So just imagine what it is now if it's already crazy enough on what's considered to be a normal day over in the country of Haiti. So again, you got that conflict going on. You got the whole situation in Ukraine that's escalating by the day. You got the whole situation in Israel that's not calming down anytime soon. You got, what is it, the United Nations? They're ordering Israel to do a ceasefire, but they totally rejected it and said, we're not doing it. And then we can't forget about the fact that, China is conducting drills, right? They're flying around Taiwan, right, every single day, right? They're either circling the nation by ship or flying their jets around the country, right, off their shores, right? They're doing drills. They're getting ready. At this point, man, China's doing so many drills that one day they could just decide to move in on the country, right? One day they could just decide, and it will be a surprise to everybody because everyone will be caught off guard if China just decided to invade the country because they've been doing all these drills around the country for so long now that if they just decide any day, people are going to get called off guard because it's been normalized that, yeah, oh, well, China's just doing patrols around it because they've been doing it for like, what, a year now. So, it's normal, nothing to pay attention to until one day when it actually happens. And that's what happened in Ukraine 2 years ago, right? Like, what is it, like a month or two before the invasion, Russia was building its troops on the borders with Ukraine. And, America was telling, Ukraine is like, it looks like from the data we're getting from like our satellites, we can see, where they're placing their armory, and it looks like they're preparing for some type of invasion. And then Ukraine was like, whatever, right? The average Ukrainian was like, that won't happen, right? That can't happen anymore. That won't happen. People are just trying to scare people. And even Putin said, oh, we're not, invading. We're just conducting drills, right? We can do that on our territory. And then, of course, a couple of days later, they end up moving in on the country. And then everybody got caught off guard, right? They got caught like a gullible sheep. And then people were running around like a damn chicken with its head cut off. I mean, sure, you should have seen what Kiev looked like on the day of the invasion. I mean, shit, I was up all day watching the live video coming in all day long. Matter of fact, I was one of the first people that found out about the whole invasion because I was up at like 4 in the morning and the news like picked it up like 20 minutes after it began, right? So when everybody is asleep in the country, well, by a vast majority, I mean, sure, there might be a few people, like a few million, awake at that time, sure, but by vast majority, the West is sleeping at that time, right? People over at this area of the world. So I was among some of the very first people that found out about this whole situation because I was up at the time it began, right on the 24th. So again, I saw, what that was like, the first day. People didn't know what the hell to do. But, the sad thing is some of those people would have took heed to the warning signs that there was a attack coming. They could have safely got themselves and their family out of the country days before it begun, or even a week before. But again, since people weren't paying attention to the signs, they got caught off guard. And, I can correlate that even back to the Bible. It speaks about that you got to be constantly, on guard and paying attention to the signs. So when Christ comes back, it doesn't catch you off guard like a thief in the night. Right? Because Christ said he's coming back as a thief in the night. That's clearly all over the Bible. I mean, what does that mean? Because somebody's going to say, well, that's a contradiction because now Jesus is saying that he's a thief and that's a sin. So see, the Bible's contradicting itself. It's like, no, dummy. It's called a correlation or a allegory, a metaphor. Basically, he's saying that he's going to come back at a time that people don't expect it. Right? People are not going to expect to, see Christ return. It's going to be happening off guard, right? People are going to be caught off guard when this happens. Just like those people in Ukraine. None of them. I'd be willing to bet $1 million that 98% of the population, 99% of the population, when they went to bed on the 23rd, none of them imagined that their country was going to be in war the next morning. I'd bet $1 million that 99% of the population, that wasn't on their mind when they went to bed on the 23rd of February. And lo and behold, the next day, that's what happened. Everybody, for the most part, 99% of people, they got caught with their pants down, right? They got caught off guard with a massive attack. And many of those people didn't live. Many of those people lost their lives. Whereas if they would have just paid attention to the warning signs that clearly could be seen, well, they could have got out of harm's way days before, a week before the attack began. So again, this is a good allegory to use, tie back to the Bible, man. We give people the warning, of what to be paying attention of, regarding, Christ's second coming. But hey, if people don't want to pay attention to that, hey, then that's on them. That's on them. If people don't want to pay attention to the signs, if people want to be stupid, either believe that it's like, far in the future from our time, or the other dummies that believe that it all already happened in 70 AD, aka full preterism. I mean, shit, if somebody wants to be stupid and believe either of those two things, then hell, be my guest. Right, be my guest. That's, be my guest. That's all I can say. Be my guest. That's honestly the best thing I can say at this point. Again, all the evidence is against those things. It's against people saying, well, it's in the far out generation. We're not in the end times yet. That's like another 1,000 years or, another couple hundred years in the future. Hey, if you want to believe that, you believe that. I'll call you stupid, but you can believe that. Hell, if you want to believe it all already happened in 70 AD and that we're living in heaven, then you can believe that too. That don't affect me. Sure, I'll call you an idiot if you believe that, but I mean, shit, you can believe that if you want. Shit, I can't stop you from believing that. Another thing, I brought up Samuel Owen earlier. He caught me off guard. He joined my stream. I thought he was another Samuel, right? He was another Sam that I was going to talk to, right? There was another guy named Sam that I've been trying to meet up and, do a chat with on a StreamYard. So apparently I got both of their Gmails mixed up. So apparently the Sam I was talking to was actually Samuel Owen and not the actual other Sam that I wanted to engage in a conversation. So the wrong Sam joined the stream, but I was like, you know what the hell, we'll just have a conversation since you're already here anyway. So, me and Samuel, we had the conversation for a while. And, I mean, it's remarkable to me, the stupidity that this dude's out there teaching, right? The guy's teaching that he's Jesus Christ. He's the roaring lion from the tribe of Edom, right? The roaring lion from the tribe of Edom. He gets that from Isaiah, the 63rd chapter, starting at the top. That's where he gets that from. It's like, but wait a second. How the hell could you be Jesus Christ and be from Edom if the Bible says that Jesus is a an Israelite? What is that? Hebrews 7:14. It's evident that our Lord sprung from the tribe of Judah. Then what he says, oh, well, I don't accept Paul, right? I don't accept Paul. Which that's a whole nother topic, because I don't know why everybody all of a sudden rejects Paul. Like again, that seems like a popular doctrine nowadays. I mean, I see so many people that they'll accept the Bible, but then they'll say they reject Paul's writings. Like they'll say Paul was like a wicked person or a false teacher. It's like, I don't know what people got against Apostle Paul. But as a man myself who's actually read the entire New Testament multiple times, I don't see where Paul's writings contradict the teachings of the Old Testament or the teachings of Christ. I don't honestly don't see that. So again, I don't honestly get why people pretend like Paul's like such a false teacher or any of that nonsense. I honestly don't get that myself. But again, if they want to believe that, hey, they're welcome to believe that. But then when Sam told me, well, I don't accept Hebrews, and I was like, okay, well, I'll cut you again. It says in Luke, because you accept Luke, right? There's like, oh yeah, Luke. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly true. So then I asked him, well, why in Luke does it say that Christ is from the lineage of David then? And I think that he got cut with that.